As a flatbed hauler, your job probably includes helping load your cargo or supervising the loading of your cargo. Either way, your responsibility starts before the actual loading begins. During your pre-trip inspection, take time to carefully inspect the trailer. This includes checking items that are necessary to properly secure your load and ensure safety. Examine the trailer frame and undercarriage for cracks and the wheels, rims, and tires for visible signs of damage. Check the suspension for cracks, damage, or excessive wear. And make sure your trailer brakes are in good working order and are properly adjusted. Pay particular attention to the front end header board, or headache rack as some drivers call it. Just as the name indicates, it's intended to protect the driver from any cargo that could come through the tractor cab if the load suddenly shifted forward. Make sure the header board is not damaged in any way. If it's defective, your safety is at risk. Also, examine tarps and securement devices to make sure they're undamaged and in good working condition. State laws vary as to what types of cargo must be covered. Know the specific laws of the states you travel in. Spill protection covering is also required in many states, and most states require sand, gravel, and small stone loads to be covered as well. Certain types of cargo must be covered in order to protect it from the elements. You are responsible if your load becomes damaged en route.
The pre-trip inspection is very important for the driver. Without that inspection, he can never know what condition his load is in, his straps, his binders, the chains. If they're tight, you have to have a pre-trip inspection to know if these things are ready to go.
You don't get on the road without being certain that everything is correct. With regard to load securement, nothing is more important.
Because if you do start out your trip with a strap that's already cut, chances are by the time you end that trip that device will be broken.
By checking the bill of lading, you can determine the best way to distribute and secure the type of cargo you'll be hauling. Pre-trip planning goes a long way as well. Your gross vehicle weight or gross combination vehicle weight will play a role in which roads you're permitted to travel on. Steep inclines and rough roads can add stress to your securement system, particularly with a flatbed. Pre-trip planning will help you to avoid unnecessary situations that may affect your load securement. Next, examine the cargo itself. Make sure it isn't damaged in any way and that it matches your paperwork. When you accept the load, it becomes your responsibility. So raise any concerns you may have before the loading process begins. Prevent overloading by making sure you take into account your gross vehicle weight, axle weight, bridge load formula, and the weight of your cargo. Before we move on to loading, I want to mention one more thing: your personal safety. Even if your company doesn't require you to, common sense says it's in your best interest to wear safety glasses, gloves, and very often a hard hat. When loading, it's important to distribute the weight of your load evenly and to keep the center of gravity as low as possible. To accomplish this, place the heaviest cargo on the bottom and don't stack your cargo too high. This is particularly dangerous on flatbed trailers since there are no sides. The higher the center of gravity, the more likely your load is to shift or fall off the trailer on curves or inclines or during sudden movements. A top-heavy load is much more likely to tip and cause a rollover when you take a sharp curve, swerve to avoid a road hazard, or come to an emergency stop.